Hey friends, it's your pal Mike Shea from Sly Flourish here with another episode of Sly Flourish's Lazy GM Prep. In this weekly show, we go through steps from Return of the Lazy Dungeon Master while I prepare for my Sunday role-playing game. In this case, I am running Scourge of the Dragon Empire, a game set in the world of Midgard using the Tales of the Valiant rules. This show, like all of the work of Sly Flourish, is brought to you by the patrons of Sly Flourish. Patrons get access to all kinds of tips, tricks, tools, resources, and accessories. An example of that is the Artisanal Monster Database. The Artisanal Monster Database is a way to look up over 2,500 monsters that have been released under the OGL or in the Creative Commons or under ORC, so you can quickly whip them up, drop them into your notes. For example, let's say we want a cultist. We have various cultists from Level Up Advanced 5e, Black Flag, Tome of Beasts, so on. They are available. I like the Black Flag, which is the same one that's in Tales of the Valiant. The Tales of the Valiant cultist is really great. So here it is in a very easy to get website, a web page, but also available in Markdown. So you can grab this and drop the stat block directly into your notes. That is one example of one of the many tools that you get for being a patron of Sly Flourish. You also get access to the awesome Lazy GM community over on Discord, and you help me put on shows like this to the patrons of Sly Flourish. Thank you so much for your support. We did not have a game last week, but I know where the game ended. So the characters made their way out of the Shadow Road. They were on a Shadow Road known as the Sunless Stream, and they battled. This was pretty funny. They ran into a group of, what do they call, the Ghost Walkers that were on the other side, and the Ghost Walkers included 2 Ghost Walker Ettins. Was it 2 Ettins or 1 Ettin? I can't remember if it was 1 or 2 Ettins, and several Ghost Walker orcs. And I screwed up. When I was looking at the Monster Vault, I have a new little, it's actually a music stand that I use next to my table to hold a book in a nice angled way so I can look over to my left and see the whole book open. It's got a little light, so it shines it right on. It's very easy to read. And you would think with that great setup, there's no way I could screw anything up. But what I did screw up is I started using the let's see, the Monster Vault. Let's go to orcs here. Bang, and down to orc. And as you can see, so they kind of have 2 stat blocks on the same page. They have the Orc and the Orc Warlord. And I kind of screwed up, and I was reading quickly, and I started using Orc Warlord stats. And I was like, wow, they make 3 longbow attacks. And I rolled them, and I'm like, wow, they do 11 damage per hit. I'm like, 33 damage. I'm like, man, that's a lot for a CR1/2. Because I'm in the, I'm firing up and I'm going, and I'm like, ooh, that's a lot. And I remember looking at it like that, maybe I'm just going to do 2. So I was doing 2 shots, but they just started getting torn apart by these arrows. And they're like, my God, we're just getting ripped apart by these things. And then I went, ooh, look, I was using the wrong stat block. I should have been using the one on the left instead of the piece on the right. You can kind of see how if you're reading horizontally, and they were 5th level, so they took a little bit. But then I realized halfway through that they didn't. And I described how they had these special, tendon and artery ripping arrows where they had little bird skulls on the ends of their arrows that would whistle when they fired and burrow into you when they shot. They would go in like a drill bit, and they had little barbed blades that would tear your insides when they hit you. And that's why they were doing so much damage. And then they ran out of those when I realized I was using the wrong stat block, and then started doing normal javelin style attacks. I just reskinned them into other arrows that they fired. And I think I told them I think I've been looking at the wrong stat block. I'm like, huh. But then afterwards they went and they found a couple of those artery ripping arrows, which are I think I said they were +1 arrows that did an extra, you can only shoot them once, but they did an extra 2d6 damage or something like that, or they did an extra d6 damage or something like that. So that way they got a benefit from it. They got a little, that's improv right there. You make it work, and we made it work. So that took a good long time fighting the orcs and the Ettins. I think it was 2 Ettins and one and a handful of orcs. And I think we had 5 characters, 5 5th level characters. And they took them out. And then they got out the other side of the Shadow Road and made their way, found their way into the shrine of Grinning Nakresh, the 40 fingers of Nakresh. 40 fingers? Is that what it's called? 4 or 40 fingers. They're the lower left hand of Nakresh. So they got to the Nakresh statue, which is this big statue that's got, multiple arms and stuff like that. 8 arms, I guess. and realized that they're right outside of their home base. So then they stepped into the home base and they have started to kind of figure out what's going on there. And that is where we ended the session. The joke is that last week, the cliffhanger was, hey, the blue barbers have magic items they're willing to sell to you. And then the beginning of this one was, hey, your guy who's smuggling magic items out of the Dragon Empire now has new Dragon Empire items to sell and or trade, illicitly. And that was where the session began. So we are going to jump over to Obsidian, go to my Dragon Empire game, go to session notes. We are going to create a new note from template. I am using Obsidian to do my game prep. You can find a link in the show notes for using Obsidian. And we got my Dragon Empire template. Bang. And let's see. Amavin is going to be there. Rowan is not going to be there. Gaudenzia is not going to be there. Emmert is not going to be there. So we have Amavin. Amavin is a rogue who is familiar with the machinations of Parsis the Hidden, one of the 3 Morza that they're going to be dealing with. Cal knows of the wilds of the mountains to the north, of the northern mountains. We're going to talk about what that means in a moment. Mateo, let's see. So Mateo is the mechanist, and the mechanist, I screwed up and gave the wrong kind of magic item for mechanist last time. So that was kind of a dud, but maybe they can trade it. So Mateo, what? So they could make so they have the key. Oh, so he has the key to use the red portal, able to make magic talking stones. So that helps. And Tolstoy, the wizard. So now that they're back at the 440 fingers, what is Tolstoy's? Tolstoy's probably apt to cause a lot of ruckus. I'm going to say recognizes the danger in causing too much ruckus. I don't know how to spell ruckus. That is actually a warning to the player, because the player is going to want to cause a lot of strife. And I'm like, if you do, it's going to ruin your home base. So be careful about ruining your home base. So let's see, I need a new tab here because I'm going to open up some NPCs. So we have Master Kiprek is an NPC. I'm jumping around a lot, but that's okay. Master Kiprek is their main contact in 440 Fingers, who is a leader of the lower left hand, which is a sect of Nakresh whose goal is to steal as much as possible from the Dragon Empire. Tamarly Morris Gemborn is the local leader who represents the Dragon Empire. 440 Fingers. Cal's mother, Orthania, is here, so she's probably an NPC worth talking to. Quinn Sable is the major domo of Morris. I don't know if he's going to come in. I'll keep him handy. Do I have... I can't... It looks like I've got... I don't know how Selvin is. Let's see. Fame's Wormwatcher is the Ermonley governor of Ibelin. So probably don't need that. Bryuz is Silverbound, is the Dragonborn Tamarly noble of Ibelin, who's a toady. So I'm missing one important person here. I'll have to dig through my old notes. Who's the guy that's actually running the trade caravan. They don't trust him. I think we go way back. Yeah, wow. It's amazing like how fast these games go. Yeah, Bradek Grimm. What's funny is, I mean, if they don't trust him, they don't trust him. But I like Bradek Grimm. And he is trustworthy. He is the orc noble of the Wilvan Ashadar Trading Company, and who's fencing illicit goods between the Dragon Empire and Nuria Natal. And Bradek we definitely need in today's notes because I think he is going to be right there at the start. So, strong start is Bradek Grimm. Is that how it's spelled? Yep. Shows off the wares of the Dragon Empire. So a trick, let's see. One thing I want to, we need a map. Let's pull up a map here on the left side. So let's zoom in a little bit here since we're focused on one particular area. So the characters are at the 440 fingers. I picked the 440 fingers because it sits very nicely between three major regions, Gizmiri, Batek, and Mazar. Now, Ashadar sits at the edge of Batek, and I believe if we go over to our Midgard world book here, and we go to Dragon Empire, I think Batek is the realm of Parsis the Hidden. So Mazar is I think, right, is the upper left area. Yes. So that's Mazar is the Dragon Coil. And Ibelin rules over Mazar. And then Batek is is under Parsis, ruler of Batek. And what I think, so the question is, who is actually doing the smuggling? So the deal is that there are three dragon lords that we're worried about for this campaign. Parsis the Hidden, Ibelin the Illustrious, and Adisha of the Burning Wastes. Adisha is this big, brutal fire dragon that rules out of the empire to the southeast and is mostly concerned with finding powerful artifacts to turn the entire world into a burning hellscape. Batek is ruled over by Parsis the Hidden, who is a very sneaky, very often unseen and likes to walk around in mortal garb dragon. I don't even know what kind of dragon. A wind dragon, whatever that is. We could just make up whatever that is. And then you have Ibelin the Illustrious, who is probably the vainest of the dragons. And I think what's probably going on, which I think could be a fun secret, is Ibelin is smuggling goods out through Ashadar to put the risk on Parsis. Through Ashadar to Nuria Natal. It is illegal to trade magic items, magic goods, between the Dragon Empire and its enemies, which includes Nuria Natal. Ibelin is incredibly vain and thinks, is Ibelin a lady dragon or a man dragon? Him. So Ibelin is incredibly vain and thinks himself smarter than the other dragons. If goods are being smuggled through Ashadar, through Batek in particular, Batik, it's unlikely it has escaped the watching eyes of Parsis and his spies. We had a spy group. There was a name. I came up with them. Let's see. Did I put them in my... Let's switch back over to our notes for the time being. The three Morza. Yeah, I think I did some... Right. I did some stuff here where I copied it over. Parsis and his ruler Batek. Create an eye in the storm of the wars. Yeah, the Kavez al-Eski spy network known as the Hidden Eye. This is a good secret. A very powerful spy network run by Parsis spy master Kavaizer al-Eski, known as the Hidden Eye. So that's cool. So I don't know, I think like one thing that they could learn while they're thinking about their network is the fact that it's very possible that Ibelin is actually the one doing the smuggling of the goods through Ashadar, and they're doing that to set up Parsis, right? They're doing it Ibelin thinks he's doing it underneath Parsis's nose because Ibelin is incredibly vain. But it's very likely Parsis is super smart and runs this incredibly detailed spy network. It's very likely that they know about the spy network as well, or that they know about the smuggling as well, and is letting it happen. So that, that's kind of an interesting path. A shadow road lies between Nerdarin and Ashadar, called the Scholar's Path. It's heavily guarded by agents. It's heavily guarded and watched by agents of both Parsis and Ibelin. Let's see. The Scholar's Path is used to transfer gold between Ashadar and Nerdarin for the war effort in the northwest. That war effort, I think I had it in a Secrets and Clues before. It was back when they were in Nerdarin. Yeah, here it is. So I can bring this secret back up again. Ibelin the Illustrious is heavily engaged in the current holding of Krypton, of and Rumela, which they took. Part of this, which they took from the Seven Cities, and the battles have been costly. All of the dragons are supposed to. Oh, let's see. Parsis is supposed to fund the supply lines and the mercenaries, the sharpened coin mercenaries bivouacked in Nerdarin. So Parsis sends money to Nerdarin across the Scholar's Path. But there is a keep, let's see, along the Scholar's Path outside of the Shadow Roads where the funding is kept before it arrives in Nerdarin. They don't want all the funding there because somebody might rob it there. They got mercenary companies and troops and everything there. They don't want to send the money there. So they keep it in this keep, and then they dole it out from the keep to pay for the supply lines and stuff like that. But all the money is there. The name of that keep, let's see if I was past Mike Shea, a good dude, and wrote down like the name of the keep. An Obsidian fortress to Baal, Lord of Fire. Okay, so that's kind of fun. The keep, but it needs a name, right? So Baal is a Lord of Fire, and it's an Obsidian keep. Blackspire, we'll go with Blackspire. I'm sure I've used Blackspire before. Blackspire is the Obsidian keep of Baal, and we're going to talk a lot about that today. I've got tons. See, look at all those secrets. I think I got more secrets though. So a spell scale, what are they called? So I wrote a monster, and we've been talking about it. I've talked about it now on the Kobold Press channel a couple of times, a monster that I wrote for the Monster Vault 2, which I would like to use, but I gotta find it. Spell scale vassal. So a spell scale vassal guards the treasury in Blackspire. Who is the vassal? So the vassals, the spell scale vassals are like, they're draconic knights that serve the Morza directly. But which one does this one? This is probably a spell scale vassal of Ibelin. We give a name to this particular vassal, the spell scale vassal. I think it's going to be a green vassal. I don't know, would a bronze one be cool? Nah, I don't know. We'll go with a green one. I don't know if they've got a bunch of poison immunities or not. I don't think so. I think we'll be okay. I've used Gloomfang before. Grey Mist. Spellscale Vassal of Ibelin guards the treasury in Blackspire. But let's see, of Ibelin, named Grey Mist. Okay, that's good. Is there a dragon there? So I think that there's also, so beyond the Spellscale Vassal who guards it, I think there is also a young dragon there. Let's pop over to our, let's see, I'm gonna print this guy out. Let's see, insert a page break. And I will print this, but I'm only going to print page 2. So I've got my stat block for my spell scale vassal. Current page. There we go. Now I can close that. Dragons. So what kind of dragon do we want? Black, blue, brass. Brass dragon might be fun. A young brass dragon. It's got a fire breath and a sleep breath. So a young brass dragon named what? Hey, my mom is here. Hi, Mom. What would be a good name for a young brass dragon? Sunray? We'll call him Sunray. A young brass dragon named Sunray oversees the keep, oversees Blackspire on behalf of Ibelin. So we got 2 NPCs that we know operate out of the keep. So we're pretty good there. Let's see. So I got a bunch of I'm good on secrets. I'm certainly good on NPCs. I've got one fantastic location. I'm probably going to need another, but we'll handle that in a minute here. But we need to figure out shows off the wares of the Dragon Empire. So we will go over to our Game Master Guide, and we are going to look for treasure. I forget where the treasure goes. Rewards. It's kind of buried. So adventure, I got to remember this. Adventuring options, rewards, treasure is where I'm looking. I don't find the parcel system very useful in Tales of the Valiant, but I do like their treasure tables a lot. And so I think they are going to have, let's see, I'm not going to worry about gems and jewels and art and things like that. Maybe we could have some of them, but I think more importantly, people are going to care about potions and stuff. So let me get a dice roller, and I'm going to roll a 50-50 shot to see, let's see, we'll have 3. So let's see, we're going to do 3 dice, 1d2s. On a 1, it's an uncommon. On a 2, actually, we're going to do 3-sided dice. So on a 1 or a 2, it's uncommon. On a 3, it's a rare. So we got a 1, a 2, and a 3. So we got 2 uncommons and 1 rare. All right. And now we roll D100s. So we got a 40 for 1 uncommon, which is a potion of animal friendship. I should put this down in the treasure. A 17, which is dust of disappearance. And then the rare was a 81, which is a potion of water breathing. It's kind of interesting. So you still get, if you roll the rare table, it still gets uncommon items. I probably should not have bothered to split uncommon and rare. I probably should have just rolled on the rare column. What did I say it was? Water breathing? So those are the, let's see, we clear the history, and we're going to roll 3 D100 for uncommon magic items that they may acquire. Oh, that wasn't right. 61 is a Medallion of Thoughts. 35 is a Hat of Disguise. I can't remember if they have one of those or not. And 47 is Bagpipes of Battle. Is that a bard-only thing? I have to look in the player's guide, don't I? You must have proficiency with instruments, woodwinds, to use the bagpipes. You can use an action to play them to create a fearsome and inspiring tune. Each ally within 60 feet of you can hear the tune gains a D12 bardic inspiration for 10 minutes. Each creature within 60 feet, they can hear the tune, and as hostile to you must succeed in DC 15 wisdom save or be frightened of you for 1 minute. A hostile creature has disadvantage on the saving throw if it is within 5 feet of you. Frightened creature must take the dash action and move away from you by the safest route possible on each of its turns. A frightened creature can repeat the saving throw at the end of its turns. And in the effect, ooh, how often can you do that? Once used, the bagpipes can't be used this way again until the next dawn. That's pretty good, like fearsome bagpipes. Those are pretty good. I tell you, fear, man. DC 15 wisdom saving throw for fear. It's like turn, but for everybody. I don't know if I like that. I don't know why. It always bothers, like fear bothers me because it's not like it gets rid of the monsters. You still have to kind of deal with it. I don't know. I'm going to roll again. those are kind of tricky magic items to manage sometimes, and it seems fun. 40. There we go. Good old slippers of spider climb. You know what? They all spider climb though. I wonder if there's anybody that doesn't. One thing about these tables is they don't really offer magic weapons very much, but I don't know who. I got to remember what magic items they got. I got to ask them. I got to ask them and write down what magic items they currently have. Let me just see if I have done so in the past. Cal wants let's see, Gaudenzi wants a cool crossbow, but Gaudenzi is not there today, so we're not going to worry about that. Cal has slippers of spider climbing, so we're going to re-roll those because we don't need another set of those. Amavin would love Masterworks, Thieves' Tools, Bag of Holding. You're not getting a Bag of Holding. Boots or Cloak of Elvenkind. We can do that. We can put a Cloak of Elvenkind in there. Dancing Lockpicks, Ring of Protection, and Quick Quaff Bandolier. Rowan, who is not there. Tolstoy likes wands. So we're going to replace this spider climbing with a Cloak of Elvenkind. I think that's good. And then how much money is on the train is a question. And I'm going to go to my random generator here. And we are going to roll a 5 to 10 treasure hoard, and we're going to put all this stuff in it. Aberrant poisonous string of beads that cast Hunter's Mark. That's pretty fun. Big pile of treasure. I think we're going to take some of this gold and turn it into bars. So there's 2,000 gold pieces. If we had 100 gold piece bars, that would be 20, right? Marked with Parsis's sigil. But it's wrong. That'll be a fun clue. And then that reduces the amount of total gold that this has. You know, it's the 20 times 100 gold piece bars. So that's cool. So let's go to scenes and what we're going to do for scenes. So the first one is, this is like, we've been talking a lot of fuzzy stuff, but let's get down to like, what are we actually doing today? Right? In a few hours, what are we actually doing? So first, they're going to talk to Braydick about the illicit goods. They can decide what to steal, what to add. They're going to learn some stuff from it. They could just take the gear. They don't have to even replace it, right? Like they can do whatever they want because nobody's going to know what they've taken and what they haven't. Or they can put some gear in there. So that could be kind of interesting. Then they are going to journey to Blackspire. They're going to go along those mountains. If we look at the mountains, and I can't remember if I had a name for them or not, this mountain range. I guess I could just give them one, but I thought I had one. Oh no. Let's see, if I go to my notes, I can go into Dragon Empire and I can search just in this folder and we'll search for mountain. Griffin Crag, did I call them that? No, that was something else. Well, okay, so it doesn't appear that I ever named the mountain, so that's good. So I can give them a name. The Wyvern's Sting. We'll call it the Wyvern's Sting, because there might actually be a wyvern in there. Who knows? Then they have an encounter along the path. And I think I was looking at some random stuff, and I think it is going to be a ghostly tower of Velis. Velis. Where is my... Whoops. If I go to my gods, I think I have descriptions in here. Let's see. I'll open up a new tab and go for files, Dragon Empire. I have a big faction list, and I think Velis is here. Velis the World Serpent. Let's see. We'll get rid of some of these other titles there. So they find the Ghostly Tower of Velis, and I'm wondering, is the Ghostly Tower of Velis sort of a waymarker of the Scholar's Path? And my idea here is that they run into an encounter. And in the encounter, I thought, let's see, we can take a look. What I want to have is Aldi and a Dragonborn. And what are the ranks? Let's see, where are the ranks? I always get the ranks mixed up. So this would be it wouldn't be a scaled noble. And it wouldn't be a warrior class, so probably a Sekban. Well, who would be in charge of moving this stuff? I don't think it would be a noble. It could be a noble, a Tamarli, who's in charge of moving the stuff. Now, here's the question. Is this Tamarli in service to Parsis or to Ibelin? I think it might be interesting if they are a Tamarli of Parsis, because they might actually start to get an ally among them. So this isn't a monster. And let's see, I need a name for this Tamarli. We will, let's see, go to my random NPC generator here. A mouth Wormsteel. A mouth Wormsteel of Parsis. And the question is, what do they get jumped by? So I think in this case, we're going to go to the Game Master's Guide again. And we are going to go to their random tables. And we are going to take a look at, we'll start with mountains, but we can go into hills and stuff like this. This is now our tier 2. Frost Giant observes the PCs from a high peak. We can just roll some, right? Let's just roll. This dice roller, by the way, is available at slyflourish.com/dice, free and available to everybody under a CC0 license. Anybody can use it. You can download it. You can modify it. You can build an app. I have a fellow made an app for the App Store format. It's great. So, D12, bang. 4. PCs discover a cavern entrance to the mountainside. They investigate. They discover dozens of statues throughout those, and they have basilisks. 5 basilisks. I think I like the next one, which is winter wolves have descended from the peaks in search for food. Winter wolves might be cool. Are winter wolves, are they smart? Do they speak? They speak. Look, common giant and winter wolf. What if they are winter wolves of the north and they worship the Pale Mother? Like they are, it turns out the Pale Mother has a hell of an influence here. Winter wolves of the Pale Mother. And let's see, they are CR3s. Our LEB, we have 4 characters today. They're level 5, so the lazy encounter benchmark would be 10, right? So they could face 3 of these. That works. That's kind of fun. And so the winter wolves are attacking and have killed most of the group of Amelth Wormsteels. So they're not moving the procession. They're on the way. So what are they doing? So it's a small group that's making their way to the Obsidian Keep, but they don't have. Maybe they have a small treasury with them. Maybe they've been slowly adding money to it. So maybe they have their own small treasury. They have so much treasure. Meeple15 says, how do you calculate the CR again? So this is the lazy encounter benchmark. And the way to measure the lazy encounter benchmark is you add up all of the character levels, total character levels, then divide it by 4 if they are below 5th level, or divide it by 2 if they're above 5th level. And that is a general benchmark of where it could be hard to deadly. Higher than that, and you're at risk of a TPK, maybe it's going to be a really hard fight. Below that, and it's going to be an easier fight. If you have it, it's definitely going to be an easy fight. So in this case, 3 Winter Wolves are CR9. We have 4 5th level characters. You add that all together, that's 20. Because they're 5th level, you divide it by 2, so that's 10. So that means it's slightly under, and that seems about right. That's how the lazy encounter benchmark works. So we're going to roll another treasure. There's a lot of treasure today. But this one I think is just going to be a tier 1. No bags of holding. One thing that they're never going to get is a bag of holding, because dealing with the gold is a big fun part of this adventure. The reason that they're not getting a bag of holding is that in many cases they are like when they go to Blackspire, one of the fun things about Blackspire is there's going to be like 150,000 gold worth of stuff. There's going to be big stacks of gold bars and tons of coin and tons of stuff. And if they could just shovel it all into a bag of holding and leave, it makes it way too easy. Far more interesting is what the hell do you do with 500 pounds or 1,000 pounds worth of treasure, right? And this is treasure that, they don't want to just steal. They don't want to just acquire it. They're removing it from the Dragon Empire in order to hurt the Dragon Empire. So there's this fun of like, I really want to have this thing of like, when they get to the treasury, the big question is, oh my God, what now? Like that to me is an interesting thing to deal with. My treasure list is too big, so I'm going to reduce it down so that it'll print nicer. There we go. So they're along their journey. They see the 3 winter wolves that are attacking this group. It looks like they're going to win, and they might let them die. So here's the fun, right? The fun is, instead of having a random encounter where the characters are going through the mountains and they fight 3 winter wolves, instead, the characters are going to be making their way through the mountains, which are known as the Wyvern Sting. And I think there's already Dragon Coil, so we can say Wyvern Coil. I thought it's kind of fun because Wyvern Coil is the smaller mountain range to the southeast of Dragon Coil. It's not bad. Wyvern Coil Mountains, which is kind of a joke. Yeah. So they're making their way through the Wyvern Coil Mountains. They see this like ethereal, half-ruined Tower of Veles, and they find out that Tower of Veles is actually a waymarker of the Scholar's Path, that people use it to travel through the Scholar's Path. And then they see 3 winter wolves who have already killed and devoured, or already killed a bunch of this band that's making there, and all that are left are like 3 kobolds and a dragonborn. The rest have been killed. The rest of the guards have been killed. And the characters get to decide, do we just let the winter wolves finish them off? Do we go and save who remains? What do we do? And then when they deal with them, what do they learn about from the survivors, if there are any survivors? Like, that could be interesting. So that's sort of an approach that the characters can take. It's a situation where they can see it. And then they're going to approach Blackspire. The last thing I need to do today is find a map for Blackspire. So we are going to go to our Dyson Maps. This is the Dyson Commercial Map Gallery, another feature of the patron of Sly Flourish. You get access to this. It is all of Dyson's, not all of them, it's as many as I could find at the time, and I redo it every 6 months or so. All of Dyson's commercially licensed maps. So all of the maps that he gives away that people can use for commercial purposes, I take here and I create a little thumbnail gallery so that you can go through them quickly and find it. So an example is, if we take a look at this guy here, would this make for a good keep? It's got a nice underground section, which is good. It's got secret and treasury. It's got a little crypt, which is fun. It's got the main courtyard area. It's got an upper floor. This is pretty good, right? I don't think we need like a major heisty sort of area, and I like this one. So we're just gonna save that. We will save it right into my Obsidian Vault, into my campaigns, into Dragon Empire, into locations, and into attachments. It's called Medivir Manor Grid is the name of the map. And I'm going to just save it to my desktop too, so I have a local one. And we're going to print it out. And I don't think they're going to be doing too much exploration today. So let's see, scale to fit, bang. So I don't need to fill out every room in this thing yet. I'm going to start doing that next time. Next time we're going to start to actually fill it out. It can't, and I've already got so many notes. I can do a quick, I wonder if this thing's going to probably fit on a page. I think it's pretty close to a page. I've got a little bit more notes. But the last thing I just want to do is like, who's outside? So if you were guarding a treasury full of a draconic treasury, we know that. So we already know that, where is it? I thought I put it in here. This is the right notes, right? Spell scale vassal named Grey Mist. So we already know about Grey Mist, and we know about Sunray. But who else would protect it? You would probably have, and who's protecting it? Is it mostly Ibelin's forces? So there's probably some veterans and spies of Parsis. Right? That's probably true. There's veterans, a mage. Do they have multiple mages or just one mage? Probably just one mage. Do they have priests? They probably don't have priests. Scouts and soldiers. So I think Parsis probably only has about 6 veterans and 2 spies of Parsis. There's probably, how many veterans would you have guarding? Probably a decent amount. Let's say 12 veterans. We'll say 2 mages. Probably 6 scouts. And we'll do 24 soldiers, 24 soldiers of Ibelin that are in this area, right? So that's kind of a loose approximation. And then there's these crypts below. So we might have wights, skeletons, a wraith down in this crypt area that they might have to if they want to try to find their way into the basement of this place, that could be the way to do it. That's plenty. So I think let's do a quick review through our notes here, but I'm pretty sure I feel good about what I got. So we have the 4 characters today. We have our strong start. We have a bunch of scenes. We've got my secrets and clues. We got our fantastic location. The other location is the ghostly Tower of Veles. It's a sundered tower, ghostly sundered Tower of Veles, which is what did we say it was? Marker of the Scholar's Path. We've got NPCs. We've got monsters. We got treasure. So we're all good. So I'm going to print that out, export to PDF. Minimal margins. Probably don't need to scale it too bad, but we'll take a look. Put it on the desktop, see how it looks. Oh, it just fits on a page. It fits on the page so tightly that it actually has a second page, but nothing's on it. And that is done. Friends, I want to thank all of you for hanging out with me today while we prepped for today's game. I hope you enjoyed today's show. If you did, the best way to get more information from me, more awesome stuff for your games, is to subscribe to the Sly Flourish newsletter. There is a link in the show notes below. It is absolutely free to sign up, and you get a free adventure generator for signing up. You can also support me directly on Patreon. Patrons get access to all kinds of tools like the Dyson Map Generator, or the Dyson Map tool, the random encounter generator you see. I showed off the artisanal monster database earlier. I've got lots of tools like that, plus lots of adventures and scenarios, a whole separate podcast, tons of stuff, access to our Discord server so you can chat with other lazy DMs, and you help me put on shows like this. You help directly support the work that I do. And you can pick up any of my books, including City of Arches, which is going to be in print very soon. It's actually in print. It's at the warehouse. We're delivering it to Kickstarter backers. So hopefully it'll be available for sale on the store pretty soon. But the PDF is available, and we will send you a coupon that gives you $20 off the hardcover when you pick up the PDF, so that you do not lose any money buying the PDF early. And other books, Return to Lazy Dungeon Master, Lazy Games Companion, Forge of Foes, and others on the Sly Flourish bookstore. Thank you all so much. Have a great day, and get out there and play an RPG.